Thank you for tuning into Bethel BHG-TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Now our host, Pastor Johnson.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I hope that everybody is well. We're here with you all. I am getting set up. I'm not quite set up, but I'm here. I'm not going to do anything different because we're here with you all, and we hope that all is going well. I'm trying to make some connections here. As you can see, I got wires all over the place. And I had just taken a phone call, and I am actually coming from what we call a town hall meeting. But I had intended on being late tonight because I wanted to, I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of emails about this lesson that we did last night. And I knew that there was going to be a Q&A going on. And in that Q&A, I wanted to be with the Israel of God, and I did not know that they were going to be having some technical difficulties, or else I could have came on earlier, but I was also at a town hall meeting as well. But nonetheless, I got a lot of emails on this subject tonight, and I want to deal with it. I want to deal with some of the calls that I got, the emails, and just regarding this lesson. And I'm glad I got them. I really am. And let me tell you why I'm glad I got them. Because I don't mind being held accountable. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat room before we get started. Let me do that first. Let's see. Who do we have over here in our chat room? Where am I at? I got to move over. There I go. Let's see. And you all know I'm rushing, but I don't want to rush. Shout out to Sister Brenda Beauclair in our chat room tonight. There we go. Let me move over. Sister Barbara Betton, Brother Mark P., one of our moderators. Sister Kimberly Whitaker. Pray your day. Absolutely. It has. Kevin Yates. He's saying hello to everyone, including the moderators. Sister Juanita over in Arlington, Texas. There's Coach, one of our moderators. We got Brother Mark P., Sister Ramona. How you doing? Yah is the way. Thank you for being here. Brother Canson up in Philadelphia. I got to get back up there and get me another Philly cheesesteak. Yah's son in the house tonight. Let's see. And we got many more coming in, many more. Bruce T is in the house. How you doing, Bruce? Let's see. Okay. Let me see where we are. And Mark Durrett from Danville, Virginia. All right. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Let me put this thing on. I got something set up tonight. I want to make sure it's set up right. And let me see if it is. I hope it is. How did that happen? Got that. But this is supposed to be Bible A. There it is. I got two Bibles set up tonight, which is what I wanted to do. And so we have that going. Now, we're going to deal with this book of Enoch. Now, let me say this. The book of Enoch, because what had happened was I said that the book of Enoch is not real. And I know that disrupted a lot of apple carts. I know it did. And I'm not finished with my case yet. In fact, I'm going to structure, shout out to Brother Mark Durrett. And let me say this to everybody in the Facebook side. All right, I don't want to ever forget our Facebook side. We're trying to build that up over there. What we brought out last night was some conflicts with the book of Enoch, with what we consider to be the King James Version Bible. Keep in mind that what we have presented to you all, there was a word that we used, that we found in the description of the book of Enoch that I thought was very important. And I'll bring up that word in a minute. But what we had indicated, that the book of Enoch has conflicts with the scriptures, meaning what people call the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, or the book of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms. And the reason we showed conflicts, mainly we stuck in the book of, shout out to Brother Julius, we stuck in the book of Genesis. And what we discovered was that the book of Enoch in several chapters conflicted with the book. Remember, the scriptures indicate that the word of God was written by men who were inspired by God. What we showed that last night in our evidence, that the book of Enoch was not written by the book of Enoch. So that became a problem. What we also showed last night, that some of the conflicts were, one was Azazel had went and taught men how to, and I'm going to bring that out later, how to build or use weapons out of metals and stuff like that. But then we learned that it was Tubal-Cain way before chapter 6 that one of the sons of Lamech, he did that. So we found some conflicts. So because, and also the scripture we read last night that, so how can an angel come down and teach men when the scripture says this is who the artificer of those metals were? So we found that to be a conflict. And then the other one was, we read where it said that one of the angels, or Noah, was told that the angels will build the ark, and the Lord will put his hand over it and preserve Noah and his family to go inside of it. That contradicted the scriptures that we know in the book of Genesis, because the book of Genesis says that Noah built the ark. So my point is that it conflicts with the scriptures. It conflicts with the scriptures. And because it does that, we find it impossible for Noah to be a prophet. For Enoch, the book of Enoch, to be written by Enoch as a prophet, because if that book was written by Enoch, it would not, like all the other prophets, all of the scriptures would coexist and not conflict one with the other. So we don't find that among the prophets. And we shared that with you last night. Habakkuk is not conflicting with Joel. Joel's not conflicting with the book of Amos, and so forth. You can take all of them, and they do not conflict one with the other. One is not saying something and then it confuses you when another prophet is saying something else. The Bible does not do that. And the reason why it does not do that, because the scriptures tells us God is not about confusion. The Most High is not about confusion, brothers and sisters, and that would be confusion. For it to say one thing and then another prophet. Forget about Matthew through Revelation. I'm talking about the scriptures, the prophets, the Psalms, the same ones that the Messiah said, all of the law, all the prophets, all of the Psalms speak concerning me. So they do not conflict one with the other. Okay? They don't conflict. So one of the emails that I got, and they said, well, you didn't prove, since you say that that the Bible does not conflict, Enoch does not conflict with itself. So maybe he is a prophet that is providing insight. And I was going to show you all giants tonight. And I'm going to do that one. That's going to be the part 3 that we're going to do on Friday night. But part 2, I'm going to show you that the book of Enoch conflicts with itself. And before I do that, I want to show you this word that was over there, that as we read, that Enoch, the book that claims to be written by Enoch, in the context of the front of that book, it had this word, and it said pseudepigrapho, or falsely attributed works. I did not know what this word meant, and I showed that to you all last night, and therefore, because I had never seen that word, I looked up that word, and this is what it said. Pseudepigrapho are falsely attributed works. And I don't even know if I'm saying the word right, but listen to the definition. Text whose claim author is not the work or not the true author. So in other words, that book that people are claiming to be the book of Enoch, it in the context or in the index or the preface we read where it had this word. So this word means falsely attributed works, context whose claimed author, being Enoch, is not the true author, or a work whose real author attributed to a figure. Well, let's just look it up so we can finish seeing what it says over in the here. That's all we got from that. Let's hear. Here we go. It says pseudegrapho are falsely attributed works. Falsely attributed works. So somebody is falsely attributing the book of Enoch to Enoch. Text whose claimed author, the book is the text, whose claimed author is not the true author, or a work whose real author attributed to a figure of the past. So the reason why I looked up that word, again, because it was in the front of the book of the preface. And I also learned that there are 3 books out there that are Enoch. Enoch 1 is the original. Enoch 2 was done in the Hellenistic era, which was, they call themselves rewriting the original book. 3 was something that was written later on. So that's why they got Enoch 1, Enoch 2, and Enoch 3. The original is Enoch 1. So Enoch 2 was a rewrite of 1, and 3 was a more, how can I put it, a writing more in common language, so to speak. 2 and 3 came from the Hellenistic era. So I wanted to bring that out there. I wanted to put that out there because this word was there. Now, I had a lot of stuff lined up for what I consider to be dealing with the giants. And I said you were going to be amused. I'm going to save that amusement for Friday night. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to show you where the book itself contradicts itself. Now, keep in mind, no prophet, Jeremiah does not conflict with itself. There's no passage in the book of Jeremiah that conflicts with other chapters in that book. The same thing with the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah there's no chapter where the book of Isaiah is conflicting with itself. Case in point, Isaiah says that the Lord is going to return with a fury and with a fire and a sword, and the slain of the Lord is going to be many. You can read that in the 66th chapter, but you're not going to read in another chapter where it says, or in chapter 1, 2, or 3, I'm just using those as an example, where it says that the Lord is going to be coming in peace and he's going to be coming with love and kindness. Isaiah does not conflict with itself. In fact, no prophet in the scriptures conflict with itself. Now, if you want to look at conflict, the best that anybody can ever get is when you jump over into the books of Matthew through Revelation. Peter warns us that Paul's letters are hard to be understood if you are already wrestling with the scriptures. If you got problems with the scriptures are trying to say, and if you are unlearned, you're going to have problem with Paul's letters. And this is why people will read and try to interpret Paul's letters to have done away with the Sabbath. So it appears because not even Paul contradicts himself. It appears that he is. But if you unlearn, then that's how you're going to interpret the book, because those are people with itching ears hoping to get something different. They want something. They don't want to accept the book for what it is. And I say this to everybody. And this is not to discourage you if you choose to look at other books, but there are people, and it's mainly among the Hebrew community, that they want to go after other books, but yet they don't understand the books that we have. And I'm telling you that. If you ask people, why are the feast days lined up the way that they are? Why does Passover come before Feast of Unleavened Bread? And that's very important to know why Passover comes before Feast of Unleavened Bread. They're not going to be able to answer that. If you ask people, why do you count 7 weeks and the morrow after the seventh Sabbath? Why does he say that? Why can't you count 4 weeks or 5 weeks? Why 7 weeks and the morrow after the seventh week? They can't answer that. See, because we have enough in the book that we have now that we haven't even mastered it. This is what the scripture says. Israel has a lot of zeal, but no knowledge. A lot of zeal, but no knowledge. And so I'm going to show you some discrepancies in this book that we're dealing with. So the the majority of the whole book of Enoch is about the angels coming down to sleep with women. That's what we read. That's in fact, that's the main thing that most people are going to get out of the book of Enoch, is that angels came down and to sleep with men, sleep with the daughters of men. Now, the majority of the book of Enoch, the majority book of Enoch is about angels coming down to teach men sin. You can read it, and I'm going to show that to you. That's what majority of that book does. All right? We read in chapter 10, verse 8, and I'm going to show that to you. Chapter 10, verse 8. I got both of these books are on the book of Enoch. And over here, I'm going to go to chapter 10, verse 8. Chapter 10, verse 8. And I want to bring out this point right here. There's chapter 10, and we're going to go down to verse 8. And this is what it says. And the whole earth was corrupt through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I want y'all to see that. Because I'm going to show you conflicts tonight in this book. And I want you to, and I want to say that people that wrote did it out. There was nobody that was rude, although it was somewhat, I was somewhat challenged, but they were not rude. So I want to say to them, thank you for being polite. And that's all that we request in your presentation when you had made that in the emails. So let's go over here. I just want to make this a little bit bigger because I'm going to be using both of these books tonight to show you the conflicts in them. So here it says in verse number 8, the whole earth was corrupt through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. But I want to go to chapter 98. Chapter 98. And I'm going to need somebody, because I told you all before, I don't know my Roman numerals, but we know that this is 10, 20, 30, 30, 40, 45, 50, I don't even know how many chapters it is, but we're going to go to chapter 98. Chapter 98. I think this might be 98. I think that might be 98. Yes. Okay, let me read this. Listen to this. Here's the conflict. I want to make this a little bit. I don't like the way this is, the way it's moving like that. But we're going to do it. Now remember, we just read, and the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. That supposedly is an evil angel. To him describe all sin. Now, to get you the context, we read this yesterday. Because what happened, the Most High, the Holy and Great One, sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, which is Noah, and told him, hide yourself and revealed to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come about the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert which is in Dudael, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever. But listen to this why. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. That's who they saying in this book of Enoch, that all sin came from him. But when you go over to chapter 94, look at verse 4. And let's get the context. Let's go back up here and read verse number 1. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for ye shall have manifold experiences on the earth. For ye men shall put on more adornments than a woman, and color garments more than a virgin, in royalty and in grandeur, and in power and in silver, and gold, and in purple, and in splendor, and in food they shall be poured out as water. Therefore they shall be wanting in doctrine and wisdom, and they shall perish thereby together with their possessions, and with all their glory and all their splendor, and in shame and in slaughter and in great destitution. Their spirit shall be cast into the furnace of fire. Now look at verse 4. This is why I have sworn, according to the book of Enoch, I have sworn unto you. Listen to this. I have sworn unto you, ye sinners, as a mountain has not become a slave, and a hill does not become the handmaid of a woman. Even so, listen to this, even so sin has not been sent upon the earth, but man of himself has created it. And under a great curse they shall fall who committed it. But yet, over in this verse, in the same book of Enoch, it says that the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. This is a major conflict. A major conflict. So who created it? This is why Enoch could not have written this book, because Enoch would have not have made this mistake. This is a contradiction. Because the book says that man did it. Over here it says that the angels brought it. It gets worse. It gets worse. Let me show you this. I'm going to go to chapter 69. Chapter 69. Let's go to the index, and we're going to go to chapter 69. Hopefully I can find that again. 69. I think that might be it. Nope. That's not it. Oh, I hate my Roman numerals, not knowing them, because I'm thinking that was 69. And I couldn't even get this together quick enough. Let's see here. We're going to go to 69. Roman numeral 69. Let's see if this is it. Yes, let's try this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Let's go to this. Now, this gives you a list of some of the fallen angels. This is chapter 69, verse 6. This is what it says. And the third was named Gadriel. He it is who showed the children of men all the blows of death. And he led astray Eve and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield and the coat and mail and the sword for battle, and all the weapons of death to the children of men. But wait a minute. Didn't we learn? First of all, hold on. I want to say this. First, it just said that man created sin by himself in the other one, the 94th chapter. But now it's saying that this angel, Gadriel, he was the one who showed the children of men all the blows of death. He was the one that led Eve astray. He was the one that showed the weapons of the death to the sons of men, and the shield and the cope and the mail, the sword of battle for all weapons to the death to the children of men. It says this angel Gadriel did it. 2 points here, how this is going to conflict. Because I'm going to show you where in this same book it said that another angel was the one that did it. But here we just read right here. We just read over here. Let me see if I can go back to it. I missed it. In the 94th, we just read where the men on the earth was the one that caused themselves to sin. We got conflicts. And this makes it major, major conflicts. So let's keep going. And then he's in the garden, by the way, tricking Eve. And how could he be the one that led Eve astray when, according to the 6th chapter of Enoch, they didn't come until the 6th chapter in the book of Genesis. When we read that last night, we showed you for chronological time period. The angels did not come down until the 6th chapter, when they saw that the sons of the daughters of men were beautiful. And we showed you that in the 6th chapter, where they said, come on, let us go down here and do this, and let's create an oath among ourselves, and let's all take a vow that we're going to go ahead and do this. We read that last night. But yet here is showing that Gadriel, the angel, came down and led Eve astray. You see, it's conflicting with itself. It's all messed up when you really examine it. Who's the real blame for sin? Is it Gadriel or is it Azazel? So, or is it man himself? Because even though I still got this one up, here it says Gadriel was the one that did it. But over here it says Azazel did it. Major conflicts and again, A and B are both the book of Enoch. So who caused sin? Was it Gadriel? Was it Azazel? Or is it back over in the 94th chapter where it says man brought sin on the earth? In the same book. So in the book of Enoch, we got 3 people who are accused of bringing for sin on the earth. The 94th chapter, what we just read, said man did it. Here it's saying Gadriel did it. And over here it says Azazel did it. It's too much confusion. It's too much confusion. It's way too much confusion. I'm gonna leave this right here. This was the ninth. I want to go over to this one here was the 69th, but I want to go back to the 99th or 94th. I just want to show it to you one more time. I want to go back to that chapter that we just read before then. And it was 69 and 4. Let me go over there one more time. I think Brother Julius has that up for me. 69. 69 and verse 4. Yeah, here it is. Nope, that wasn't the one. I want to go to 99. I thought it was 69. It's 99. Y'all give me a minute here. I'm looking at my notes here. It was 98 and 4. I just want to show it to you because it's not me. It's not me. I'm just showing you what it says. 98. 98. Where do we find 98 at? There it is right there. 98 verse 4. I have sworn unto you as sinners, as a mountain has not become slave, the hill does not become the handmaid of a woman, even so sin, listen to this, even so sin has not been sent upon the earth. So we just read that Gadriel did it, and over on the A side, we got Azazel did it, and now we got sin has not been sent upon the earth, but man himself has created it. Come on. This is. All right, let's go back to where we were. Y'all have to admit, this is just confusing. This is just confusing as a book. So we got some problems. Enoch, the book of Enoch, which is pseudographical or whatever you want to say it, it wasn't written by Enoch. No, it's not happening. No. So we got some problems. And I'm telling you, this is crazy. All right, let me go back up here. I want to go back to 69 and 6. And the third, here, let me put it up here. And the third was Gadriel. He led astray Eve and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield, the coat, the mail, the sword, the battle, and all the sins. We got problems. And why is he in the garden tricking Eve? Y'all have to see this. This book of Enoch is really messed up. It's not real. Who is the real blame for sin? Is it Azazel? Is it Gadriel? Or is it man? And we know, or man himself, because we can read that in Romans. Because the book of Enoch says it's all three. It's Gadriel, it's Azazel, and it's man. How can this book be legitimate when it does not agree with itself? The Bible won't make this kind of mistake, brothers and sisters. No prophet will contradict itself. And that's why I say this book is not the book of Enoch, because this would not have happened if it was written by Enoch. Now I'm going to go back to the time when the angels supposedly slept with the daughters of men. Because number one, that's not true. And it don't say that, the Bible don't say the angels slept with women. It says the sons of God slept with women, and those sons of God were men who came from Seth. And you can find that phrase, sons of God, a lot of times throughout the Bible. And the only book, brothers and sisters, no prophet in the scriptures talks about angels sleeping with the daughters of men. Only this book of Enoch that was written, which was not written by Enoch, that's the only book that you're going to find some of that, which is this book is not real. What is it? What is this book? I'm going to go right back over here and show you. What is this book? It's pseudepigrapho. Again, I can't even say it right, but it means this is not the true author. It's not. It's not. So, and here's the thing. Every time I defend Genesis, the 6th chapter, every time I defend it to say that it was not angels, the fallen angels, you know what people always say? Have you read the book of Enoch? Man, you got to read the book of Enoch. Enoch tells you all the missing parts. You got to read the book of Enoch. Then they even go as far as say, see, this is the book that they hid from us. They didn't want us to have. The book of Enoch has not been hidden. Who told you that? I want to be like when the Lord walked through the garden and Adam and Eve said, he said, where art y'all? They said, well, we hid ourselves because we were naked. And the Lord says, who told you that? So I'm going to ask, who told you that the book of Enoch was hidden? No. Consider your source. Consider your source. This book of Enoch is confusion. Confusion. And the Lord is not about confusion. This book of Enoch, which was not written by Enoch, is nothing but confusion. That's all it is. I'm going to expose that lie with the book of Enoch. I'm going to expose that angels did not sleep with the daughters of men with the book of Enoch. Now, we're going to go to chapter 69, which is where we are. I think we are. This gives you a list of the so-called fallen angels. Here it is. You can't see it. Let me show it to you. This book in chapter 69 gives a list of the fallen angels. Listen to this. And after this, the judgment, they shall terrify and make them to tremble, because they have shown this to those who dwell on the earth. And behold, the names of those angels, and these are their names. These are their names. Now listen to this. Verse 4. The name of the first, Jehon, that is, the one who led astray all the sons of God and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. So according to the book of Enoch, it was Jehon that is the one who led astray all of the other angels and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. He was the one, this guy Jehon, right here, this fallen angel, according to the book of Enoch, the 69th chapter, verse 4, he was the one that led. He was the one that got everybody together to sleep with the women of the earth. But we got a problem. Because if you was with me last night, and I'm gonna take you over there. So let's go over here to chapter 6. I know what Roman numeral number 6 is. I can get that far. But let's go read it. Roman numeral chapter 6. Listen to this. I'm going to refresh you. Chapter 6, verse 3. And Simjaza, who was the leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not agree to do this deed, and I alone should not have to pay for the penalty of the great sin. And they all answered him, Simjaza, and said, let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. So we can clearly see right here, Simjaza is the one that led the other angels, was their leader. We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. So was it Simjaza their leader, or was it Jehon their leader? Which one? I don't know. Because, see, this is what books that are full of mythology and falsehoods do. They lie within themselves. This is why you cannot trust this book as the book authentically written by Enoch. So who was it? Was it Jehon or Jaquan? Or was it Simjaza who was the leader? Because over here in 69th chapter, verse 4, when they named all of the fallen angels, the first one they name is Jachan. He is the one who led astray all the sons of God and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. But over here it's Simjaza. Over here on this side it's Simjaza. I got to leave that up there so you can see it. Hello? Hello? Which one is it? You see, you got a book that's conflicting with itself. Let's get back to the angel sex lies. Look at verse 5. Right here. And the second was named what's his name? Asbiel. He imparted to the holy sons of God evil counsel and led them astray so that they defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. And the reason why you got to bring this out is because they say that the angels did not, and I'm telling you, here's what I'm going to show you. Most people that support this book of Enoch, they know angels do not have sperm. Now, I already told this video this whole channel, it's not made for kids. But let's just put it there. Angels do not have sperm. Okay? But there are people in the Hebrew community who wants to hold on to this book so bad, they say that angels inhabited man. They entered into the man, and that's how they did it. And impregnated the women. And I believe they do that because they know angels don't have sperm. So they come up with that claim. But look at verse 5. It says that the angels, just in case somebody wants to use that and say, well, see, brother, because I don't want to get an email that says, brother, angels entered into the men, and that's how it happened. But verse 5, so I don't get that email, verse 5 clearly says, and the second was named Aspiel. He imparted to the holy sons of God evil counsel, and led them astray so that they defiled their bodies, not man, but their own bodies, with the daughters of men. That's what we just read. So the angels used their own bodies, and by having sex with these women on the earth, they defiled their own bodies. Keep in mind, angels don't have sperm. Angels are spirits. And we know in the scriptures, angels have taken on human form. We know that because when we read the book of Genesis, the story with Lot. So we know the angels can take on the form of man, but that's it. That's all that they can do. They don't have a heart, they don't have any of that. They can take on the form, but that's as far as it goes. That's as far as it's going to go. And they don't become human. So understand that. Those are human flesh and blood attributes of having a heart, spirit, a heart, kidney, and sperm. Angels can't do that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Let's not have a lesson where we don't bring in the Bible, okay? So we're going to go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, so you can understand this. And we're going to go over to the 15th chapter, brothers and sisters. And we're going to go over to verse 39. Okay, verse 39. Listen to what it says. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there's one kind of flesh of man, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. Okay? So the flesh of man is not the same as animal. And there are celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. Now, celestial bodies are spiritual. Terrestrial bodies are earthly. That's what humans have. Listen to this. But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. Two different types of bodies that cannot mix together. An angel cannot get a human pregnant. And that's not even the purpose, brothers and sisters. That's not even the purpose of an angel. Listen to this. There is one glory of the sun, another glory of the moon, another glory of the stars, one star different from another star. So even when we look at this, I want to go over to the book of Hebrews. And I want to bring this out. Hebrews, let's go to the book of Hebrews. I'm sorry. Let me stop there. Let me go up to, I want to go to the 11th chapter where we are, and I want to go up to, the 11th chapter of Corinthians, and I want to go to verse number 7. Chapter 11, verse 7. Chapter 11, verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and the glory of God. That's what man is. He's the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of man. Okay? So when you look at that, look at this part. Men and women have sex. But the glory of the angels, let's go to Hebrews. I want to see what the glory of the angels are. Because the glory of man and woman, they for each other. But let's see what angels. What about angels? Hebrews the 11th chapter. And we're going to go down to, not the 11th chapter, the first chapter. Verse 4. The first chapter, the first chapter, verse 4. Listen, here's what angels are for. Angels. Here they go. Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who should be heirs of salvation? That's what angels are for, brothers and sisters. They're ministering spirits. They will never and cannot have sex with people on the earth. Cannot. And let's hit another reason. Another reason. Tomorrow night, I'm going to get in to giants. And I'm going to show you why women could not have sex with these angels. Because if you read how tall these angels were, it will blow your mind. And I'm going to go back to the book of Enoch. Listen to this. Chapter 7, verse 2. Chapter 7, verse 2. And I'm going to hit this tomorrow night. But I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells. This is what this book is claiming. That the women became pregnant and bare great giants. I'm going to stop here tonight. And I'm just going to do something. We're going to go back over here. And I'm going to see how tall is 3,000 ells. Let's do this together, because y'all know how I am. We all do things together. How many feet are, first of all, I got to spell the word how right. How many feet are 3,000, and how did they spell it? Ells. EELS, question mark. All right, let's see if that's going to tell us. 3,000 L's equals 11,250 feet. Multiply the length by 375. How tall is 3,000 L's in the book of Enoch? 4,500 feet, nearly a mile. I'm going to leave that right there for a second. So you want me to believe that women on the earth had babies that end up being nearly a mile tall? The book of Enoch was not written by the book of Enoch. As much as people may want to hold on to it, spiritual beings cannot make people pregnant. They can't do it. They cannot do it. Angels do not have sperm. They're spirit. Angels do not reproduce. They cannot reproduce. They're spirit. They cannot mate with the women on the earth. And a woman on the earth cannot produce a baby that is going to be 4,500 feet tall. We got a book that contradicts itself. And because the book contradicts itself, we all should have problems with it. Not only does it contradict the Bible, it contradicts itself. And that's why last night we showed you where Noah was told by God, I'm going to have the angels build an ark. But in the Bible, the Lord told Noah, you build the ark. Here's the breadth of it, the length of it. This is how you shall make it. And I showed you all that last night. Thou should do this. Thou should do that. This is what he told Noah. Thou should make it this way. Thou should make it X amount of cubics of long and so much height and so many rooms. Thou should do it. Thou should do it. And then we took you to the book of Enoch, according to Enoch's, not the real Enoch, but according to the person who put that together and contradicted the Bible. The Lord is telling Enoch, I'm going to have the angels constructed. Then we got angels. We don't know which angel caused sin. We don't know what. One says that it was one angel that caused everybody, that he was the leader to cause people to go down to sleep with the daughters of men. And then another chapter says it was another angel that did it. See, this is confusion. This is confusion, brothers and sisters. You cannot believe a book was written by a prophet such as Enoch and has all that confusion in it. I'm sorry. I can't roll with that book. And that's why I don't roll with that book. Friday night, we're going to get to the giants, because it has gone as far as people have shown pictures on YouTube of giants being unearthed and how tall they were. And they say, see? Well, you're going to be shocked of the evidence that I've uncovered regarding those unearthed giants. And I'm going to show it to you, because I didn't take the photos. I have no skin in the game. I'm just going to let you know what the photographers themselves say about those photos. And we're going to show you that on Friday night. Tomorrow night is Bomb of the Gilead radio show. I'm going to give you all a chance to digest part 1 and part 2 and go back and read it. That's why we had this nice little overlay where we can put up 2 Bibles. So you go back and look at it, and it's there. And this is not me. I'm only reading you the book. You can't get upset with Pastor Johnson for reading the book. If it has conflicts, it has conflicts. And listen, in the scriptures, at least Paul's got somebody to warn you about his letters. Hey, let me give y'all a warning. Paul's letters are hard to be understood only if you have problems with the scriptures and you unlearn. You're going to have a problem. He tells you, there is no warning about Enoch other than when you read the book of Enoch, the evidence is there itself. It's pseudeographo, however you say that word, it's false. The works are not attributed to the author. It's falsely attributed to the author that happens to say the book of Enoch. It says that in its own preface. The book's letting you know that it is a book that is falsely attributed to the author. I just took that word and broke it down for you, because when I saw it, it threw me off. What does that word mean? The book itself tells you. When you open the book, and you know, we don't read the index. We don't read prefaces. We like to go right to the chapters. We don't read the abstract. We go right to the chapters. Culturally as a people. So you missed it. You missed it when it told you that this book is falsely attributed to the author. And on the front, who is that book claiming to be? The book of Enoch. And then you got all of these conflicts and confusion. Who created sin? One book says man did it. The other book says another angel did it. And another book says another angel did it. All out of the same book of Enoch. So I diverted a little bit tonight because I got an email that says the book is a book that is on its own, and we should not compare it with the scriptures, conflict in the scriptures. In other words, it wasn't negative. It just says, Pastor, maybe if you're taking the book of Enoch and you're comparing it with the scriptures, well, you will find some conflicts because people don't say things the same way. Okay. And respectfully, okay. So now I showed you conflicts within the book itself. It doesn't matter how we skin the cat. It doesn't matter how we skin the cat. The book's got conflict with the scriptures when no other prophet does. No other prophet is conflicting with another prophet. No other prophet conflicts with another prophet in the scriptures. But yet this book, and hold up, and no other prophet contradicts itself in its writings, in their writings. So we got no other prophet contradicts or conflicts with another prophet in the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi. No other prophet conflicts or contradicts its own writings as a prophet. And all the prophets are saying the same thing. The book of Enoch violates all three of those. It's way off on end time. It's way off on who created sin, when the angels initially came. Did they come in chapter 6 of Genesis, or did they come in chapter 1 of Genesis? I don't know. I'm confused. Which angel created sin? Out of all of those angels that were kicked out, the Enoch names, which one caused a group to go sleep with the daughters of men? They point the fingers at, is that what books do? They point the finger at each other? Yeah. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. We can't do it. We cannot subscribe to a book that conflicts with itself and against the prophets, all of the rest of the prophets, because that book was not written by Enoch. I'm not condemning Enoch as a prophet. I'm not condemning Enoch as a prophet. I'm condemning the book that claims to have been written by Enoch. So that's our lesson tonight. The last one went about an hour and a half. This one's going about an hour and a half. Anyway, there we are, brothers and sisters. I hope that this lesson dealing with the book of Enoch, again, I only read it. It's not even an opinion. I'm only just telling you the inevitable. And I showed it to you. It's the inevitable. All I did was just read what it is. You know how when you put somebody on the jury stand and they say, yeah, my buddy Peter, I was at his house. I was at his house at 12 o'clock on the night in question. And then an hour later, I was with my brother on the night in question at that time. Well, was you with your friend Peter, or are you with your brother? Right away, the jury's going to look at that guy's lying. You can't believe nothing he says. He's lying. He just said this in one chapter, and he said that in another chapter. That's what a jury is going to say. That's what a jury is going to say. Okay? That's what a jury will say. And all I did was give you the book and read how it conflicts with itself. The jury, you don't even, in this section, after this lesson tonight, we don't even need the jury to go deliberate. They don't even have to go. They can just stand in the seats and just say, what do you say? Is it real or false? Real or false? Real or false? And right away, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So I will wait for my next emails. I did not read these emails because I did not have permission, but I did respond to them and say, I will address that issue tonight. I will show you conflicts in the book tonight. And that's why I wanted to change that around. So I'll leave it like that. If that person is in the chat room and they want to say, that was I who sent the pass, who emailed, they can. But it's not necessary because they did it real nicely and they asked a very good question. And they put together, I thought, was an email that was fair. So I did not want it to go without addressing it. So tomorrow night, Balm of Gilead radio show right here on this channel, right here. Hit the like, share, and hit that bell so you can get notified. Okay? That's tomorrow night. I don't know if Brother Julius is still in the chat room. Let me see if he's still over here, Brother Julius. I see Coach Alva Kelly. Shout out to Brother Kelly in the chat room. Brother Julius, Sister Brenda Beauclair. Brother Julius, what's the subject for tomorrow night? And you have to type it, Brother Julius, because I can only see the 4. I got to scroll up. I can only see 4 at a time. Shout out to Dean Furlow. Wow, thank you for a blessed lesson, Pastor. Praises to the Most High. There are biblical scriptures and there are Catholic canons. The later is not of God. Brother Julius, what's the subject for tomorrow night? If you'll give that to us on the Balm of Gilead radio show. Shout out to all of our moderators in the chat room. I'm waiting for Brother Julius. I see his last one. I saw somebody said something about female angels. Question. So angels can take on the form of humans, but they don't have all the capabilities of humans. Yes. So what we're saying is angels, good question, Alva Kelly. So what we see in the scriptures is angels can take on the form of man. That's what we saw. Angels, and we got that in the book of Lot, whereas that happened, and because they're spirit. What we do see is those angels, and even when Jesus returned, they gave him fish to eat. Now, how did that work? I don't know. We just know that there are celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies, as we read in the book of Corinthians. And we know just like a dog cannot get a cat pregnant, a cow cannot get a horse pregnant, and vice versa, because they are in their own they're in their own lane, so to speak. And so therefore an angel cannot get a human pregnant, because angels do not get angels pregnant. They don't get each other pregnant because they're spirit. So if we had where it's documented that angels are marrying each other and getting each other pregnant, then that would be something. But angels are spirit, because these guys came to Jesus and they said, listen, we got a question. Now, according to the law, when a woman marries a brother and they don't have children because they're at war and he dies, the next one steps up. But if he becomes a husband and he dies and they didn't have no children, the next brother, so 7 brothers, which one would be her husband? Who does she call her husband? And Jesus had to say, listen, things on the earth are things on the earth. Things that are heavenly are things that are heavenly. But in the kingdom, it won't be like that. So when we become a part of that spiritual family, there will be no marrying and there will be no reproduction the way humans produce. That won't be on the earth. So I thought that was a good question. So Brother Julius, I'm scrolling down here. Question, Brother Alva says, is there any conflicts in the scriptures? No conflicts in the scriptures at all. You won't find where, even in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we have those brothers given their variation of what happened during the days of the death of Christ. But you can put they always leave some sort of evidence as to where they leaving their time period at. So, or their point of reference. So you can read all 4, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and put the whole package together. And you would have that. Brother Antoine is bringing the balm of Gilead. It's the doctrine of manifestation. Brother Kelly says, wasn't the man they called Jesus given the Spirit without measure, so didn't he have sperm? Jesus came through the seed of a woman. And Jesus was flesh. He was flesh and blood. And we know that because he died like man would die, but yet he became the first fruits. He's the first man coming through the seed of a woman to die, resurrect, and become spirit. Now, there were other people that that died, that resurrected, but they died again. Jesus is the first fruits of anybody that has ever died, buried, resurrect, and become spirit. Pastor Johnson, doesn't the scriptures mention the book of Jasher? Question, is the mention of Jasher a conflict? If you could, Brother Julius says there's no conflicts. There are typos, but if you get confused, go back to the book of Old Testament and it will straighten everything out. Yeah, the Apostle Paul says we have a more sure word of prophecy. Jews Beecham, is the mention of the book of Jasher a conflict? Okay, so let's go to, hold on one second. In the book of 1 Samuel, also in the book of 2 Samuel, it says something is written in the book of Jasher, and that is in 2 Samuel. We're going to turn to it, 1:18. That's one of the places. It's in 2 places. But 2 Samuel 1 and verse 18. And this is what it says. Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bowl. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. I'm gonna do a lesson on that. That could be the next book or the next thing that we address, because there's also, we read last night, there's the book of the wars. There was another one that I mentioned last night, and I don't have that notebook where I did that to show you where other books. What we learned from last night in Jude, it does not mention the book of Enoch. It says, and Enoch prophesied. And I just went and took a couple places where it says the book of. So, and let me show you where that is right now, by the way. Book of. And I can show you those places. I want to show you that. There's a couple places. I'm gonna call it, let me put up here the book of the war. And I think that's where it is, yes. I'm looking in my red letter Bible, book of and see if I can get that real quick. We got the book of Jasher is also in Joshua 10 and 3. It says, is it not written in the book of Jasher? We also read that in 2 Samuel. I want to get those other, there was 2 other books where it said the book of. I don't want to belabor time, but the point I want to make is, Brother Alva, is that yes, it mentions the book of Jasher. So yes, it does, and I think, and if you're asking me, is there a conflict in the book of Jasher? I have been working on what is presented as the book of Jasher as to if it is really the book of Jasher. Now, there are some things that has some issues, I feel, with the book of Jasher, but not enough to put on the table as of yet. The major point that I'm making with this is that the book of Jasher, or it was the book of Jubilee, I can't remember which one, was really going along with the book of Genesis. The issues that I had with it was the ages that the book said that the characters in the scriptures are according to what Genesis says the ages are. And that's what I saw as a conflict. But I'm investigating that. I'm looking at that. And so it's not something that you really have to put that together before you bring it out in a class setting like this. So I'm not prepared to do that as of yet because, number one, I have to read the book and take notes to compare the stories, because that's what I did with the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch, it mainly is it's the book of Genesis, mainly. But when you read the book of Enoch, and it's about 100-something chapters, although some of them are small. When you look at the time frame, like Enoch chapter 6 is the same as Genesis chapter 6. And according to Enoch chapter 6, that is when angels came to the earth. And that's when they all decide to come down and sleep with the daughters of men. But yet you got angels elsewhere in the book of Enoch. It contradicts itself because it said another angel came down and corrupted Eve. So so I have to do the book of Jasher. I got to read it and then know where to pinpoint it in with the scriptures to see if the timeline is the same. Because remember, the timeline cannot be different. It cannot be different. And you want to be careful with this. And let me show you all this. If you subscribe to another book that purports that the scriptures that we have, which is the book of Moses, is off timeline, if you use another outside book to do that and you discredit the Bible as we know it today, or the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi, if you do that, then you de-authenticate the Bible. And once you de-authenticate the scriptures, then you throw everything written in the scriptures out. Everything has to go. Everything has to go. And why do I say that? Because if you could discredit the book like you discredit the way you can discredit a witness on a stand, once you can discredit them that they're not credible in one thing, then anything else they put on the table is not right. The moment you can show that a witness lied about something, then you cannot believe them to be credible in anything they say. In anything they say. The book of Enoch discredits the Bible, but nothing can discredit the Bible. So if it don't line up with the scriptures, that's the mathematical formula that I would use, because I believe in the Bible. I believe in the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi. And the reason why I believe in the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi, is because they don't conflict one with the other. Therefore, if any other outside book wants to have the privilege to coexist with the scriptures, then it too must not contradict all of the scriptures. Because no matter how many prophets we got after the Torah, let's call it that, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, everything else is prophets and Psalms. those do not conflict with anything. If another book wants to be considered to be read as authentic, it must not conflict, number one, with the scriptures, much less itself. So with the book of Enoch, we showed that it conflicts with the scriptures as well as it conflicts with itself. And I don't know if the book of Jasher does that, because the book of Enoch was not just a few days of preparation. It's been, these notes and this information has been collected over a long period of time. I'm talking about almost 2 or 3 years. And you all know me, I don't teach something unless I'm comfortable in teaching it. Me getting the information and reading the information and knowing it is not good enough to teach it. I must know it well enough that if I'm asked a question, I can quickly respond. And this is why I had to bring the lesson this way tonight, because the emails, plural, that I got had said, and although stated differently, the both issues were, you're saying that the book of Enoch conflicts with the Bible, but why would you? The book of Enoch is a book that stands alone, and it should be considered to stand alone because it's not in the scriptures. One email says the book of Enoch is a book of itself because it's not in the scriptures. It's not part of it. It's almost a book that can be read that is comprehensive of all the scriptures. And I took that into consideration. In other words, I did not accept it, but I accepted the argument that it was bringing forth. So the argument that the person wrote in the email, and there was 2 of them. One was, why are you comparing the book of Enoch? Because the book of Enoch is not among the canon. It's a book of itself, and it's perhaps meant that way. The other email stated that the Bible, or the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi, is a book that is a canon of itself. However, the book of Enoch it's written by one person that composes all of that information. And I thought that was a legitimate argument that they were making to look. In other words, it's a Bible by itself. You got Genesis through Malachi, which is given one version, and then you got Malachi, which is composed of all of those given its version. And we should consider it because he was so worthy that the Lord took him, and he was not. So I said, you know what? Now I got to do this lesson to discredit the book. Not the prophet, but the book. So therefore, if I was to take the books of Moses, which is they're called the book of the law, some people call it the Torah, the first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That book, written by Moses, based upon the information that he got from the Lord when he went up on the mountain, that's how he was able to put all that information. It was revealed to him. We could infer that. because it wasn't written by Adam, and we can infer that the information came through Moses when he was at the mountain. Or it could have been handed down. But nonetheless, here's where I'm going at with that. It does not conflict with itself. All of the books written by Moses does not conflict with itself. Enoch conflicts with itself, as we demonstrated tonight. It conflicts with itself. So therefore, not only does it conflict with the Bible, it conflicts with itself. And so these are things you got to take in consideration. So a book that conflicts with itself, should I deem it worthy enough to take in consideration to even compare with the scriptures, Genesis through Malachi? And I say no. Because if I was to treat it as a witness on a stand, or if you just somebody you talking to, one of your children, one of your relatives, when they're conflicting, I don't even want to use the word lie, but when they're conflicting with themselves that much, you would not hold them credible. There's no way you would hold them credible. No way. You would be looking at them like this: one eye open, one eye closed. That's how you're gonna look at them. So this is how. Now, but yes, Brother Kelly, I will take in consideration to look at the book of who came up with the term canon. Well, the word canon simply means that the books agree with each other, if I'm not mistaken. But that's man did. Of course, man did. But that's like who came up with the word dictionary? Man did. Who came up with language? The Lord gave every man a language, and within every culture, men come up with terms. And that's why, and that's by permission from God. He told Adam, this is yours. You name them. This is your earth at this time. You rule it. You treat it well. And you make your decisions. Here are the laws. Either you can abide by them or you're not. Here are the penalties if you don't. But here's the definition of sin. If you transgress against this law, you're in sin. So I don't know if that question was for me or for somebody else. No, that was good, Pastor. Not the prophet, but the book. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Enoch at all. I don't. I don't have a problem with Enoch if there was a book out there that we could attribute to Enoch, but I got to go back to this simple definition that these people brought up. What happened to that? How come that didn't come up? Here it is. Is that it? Yeah. To this word that they came up with is pseudepigraphal. Falsely attributed works, texts whose claimed author is not the true author. And that's what the preface in the book of Enoch says. It uses that word. And that's what I looked that up last night for us, because I had to do that. So let's use some rules. What I mean by rules is this. I call it formulas that we have to create. No one can change the law. No one can change the law. The Bible does not conflict with itself. If it appears to be, because we read something and yet it appears to read another way, it's our responsibility to get greater understanding. Why? Because the Bible in the what we call New Testament, Genesis through Revelations, it does that. Peter covers Paul. He covers him. He covers him by letting you know that all of Paul's letters are hard to be understood, because you can read in one passage, if you don't understand what the context of what Paul was saying, it almost sounds that Paul is doing away with the commandments of God. But then in another book, he's saying that the commandments are holy, just, and good. So it's our responsibility to research to say, what was Paul really talking about in Galatians, the 3rd chapter? Because in Romans, the 7th chapter, it don't sound like Paul is trying to throw away the commandments of God. So why is he saying, why does it sound like that's what he's saying in Galatians 3? Well, you got some homework to do. And we've done a lesson on it. When you look at the lesson, it's not confusing at all. Paul wasn't talking about the commandments. He was talking about the law of animal sacrifice. That's a conversation. Okay, I thought that was for me. So shout out to everybody for coming inside here tonight. Ooh, it's 2 minutes before midnight, which means I'm going to stop at midnight. I started at 10. I'm going to end at 12. 2 hours. But yeah, all of y'all for coming in tonight. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you for being a part of the lesson tonight. And I am going to play. I played Brother Prophet last night. I want to commend for what we got out of that, because those brothers are working hard and they got more soundtracks out. Brother Phil, Brother DePaul, Prophet. I'm going to be getting a hold of some more of their material. But thank you for tuning in tonight. Tomorrow night, Brother Antoine is going to be teaching on the Balm of Gilead, and we're going to be, boom, right here, 8:30, brothers and sisters. We'll be right here. In the meantime, here's some information on our phone app, and God bless you, and we will see you tomorrow night. Have a good night.
You are tuned into Bethel BHG-TV, another Bethel House of God ministry.